All right, so I want to start this out by wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. If you don't, we got 3 games of football tomorrow, so enjoy that too. Um, but this one of those weekends where this is the time of the year where you start getting ready for the playoff push. This is when people say uh, the regular season actually matters from here on out, from Thanksgiving football on forward into January, and then into the playoffs, obviously. So we got some. I mean, honestly, these are going to be some interesting games. The first one's going to be interesting as that whole Matt Nagy situation that's going on with Chicago. Um, so we'll see what happens there. But I am picking them. Just I know Tim Boyle is starting, but I don't think really anyone in that situation is going to be good in Detroit. So I'm picking Chicago to win because I don't trust the Lions at all to win this. Even though it is a divisional opponent, I don't know. I don't trust it. So going with Chicago, despite maybe Matt Nagy's out on possibly tomorrow night because they are the first game, so he could possibly be out as early as tomorrow night. So, but my thinking is probably Friday. Then the second game here, Las Vegas Raiders head to Dallas. Not a lot to say here. Raiders are on the annual time of the year where they're slowly going down. And Dallas is the best team in the NFC East, and they're probably going to win the NFC East. Unless the Eagles can magically win it all, and Dallas just starts faltering a lot. But I still think Dallas is the clear favorite to win the East. So, but against the Raiders, I don't trust the Raiders at all, so I'm going Dallas. Then we have an interesting game here. Buffalo heads to New Orleans. I wanted to kind of wait a little bit. I'm doing this. It's about noon. Right? Yeah, it's about noon. And we may not get clarification on if Alvin Kamara is going to play until tomorrow. But I figured I'm going to just try to do, try to do this today, and then whatever happens, happens. Obviously, if Kamara was playing, I'm probably picking the Saints just because that run D by the Bills is just terrible. And obviously, Kamara's more experienced, has had more years than Jonathan Taylor, so he's going to just probably dominate just as much. Maybe go for 5 or 6 touchdowns. I know he did that last year on Christmas against the Vikings backups. So, but with no word on if he's playing yet, I am going to go with Buffalo because I feel like just after that embarrassment, they're going to try to show up and show out. You're on national TV. You're in the prime time slot. It's like I think it's like 7:20 or actually I think it's a little earlier. It might be a little early because I know the Thanksgiving games and then there's other games later. Maybe it is the Christmas games. They're kind of adjusted the time a little bit. So maybe it's a little earlier. Maybe it's not till 8 something here Central Time, which obviously is like 9 o'clock Eastern. But it's a little adjusted for these Thanksgiving games, and then there's other times later on down the season too. So, but you're in prime time, and I expect them to just come out swinging, especially after that loss to the Colts. So, speaking of the Colts, we move on to the Sunday Monday games post Thanksgiving here. Tampa heads to Indy. Very good, very fun game incoming here. The Bills were one of the best run defenses. Jonathan Taylor ran all over them. Tampa has been considered one of the better run defenses too. So we'll see. Maybe they can stop Jonathan Taylor. I don't know. But very interesting, very fun game. I can't wait for this. I'm going to go with Indy here at home against Tampa. I just think this will be a fun game. Possibly high scoring because obviously you have Tom Brady on the other side. So this could be, 38-35 game or something like that coming down to the end. So just expect this to be one of the better games of the weekend. And then we have a Tank Bowl game as the Jets head to face the Texans. I'm picking the Texans just strictly because they played better last week and they played better recently. Obviously, the Jets beat the Titans a little over a month ago, and then they beat the Bengals 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now, whatever it's been. It's been couple weeks. So, but more recently, like that's how you have to kind of go off of this. Is the Jets? Did they? They might have been on a bye. I don't even know. I don't even remember. But Houston just beat the best team in the AFC. So yes, they were down players. I get that. But Tennessee was on an 6 or an 8 game win streak, which was the longest in the NFL this year so far, and they just beat them. So, I expect Texans to win this game. Then Philly heads to the Giants, a clash of the NFC East for second place. Again, I'm picking Philly just because I think they have a better chance of dethroning Dallas, but Dallas has to start slipping up more. So, yes, they did against the Chiefs, but they have to start slipping up even more. And Philly already lost to them once, so you have to beat them later on this year. So, going to be interesting, going up against the Giants, who sucked against Tampa. But, if Philly can start putting the pieces together and winning, there's a chance that, they could go for the title, but it's just Dallas. Dallas is literally all relies on them if they're going to do good or they're going to do bad. So, then Carolina heads to Miami. I don't have a lot to say here. Obviously, Cam Newton is probably going to start, and Miami is just Miami not looking that good. So, Carolina for the win. Then we have, I'll call it co-game of the week. So, Tampa, Indy, and then Tennessee, New England is going to be co-game of the weeks. I do not know who Tennessee is getting back this week to face New England in New England, but I'm going New England. I just I don't have a ton of faith in the Tennessee after what just happened to the Texans, and New England is, they're coming off a shutout. They're coming off of just beating up badly the Browns, who had a strong run game. Yes, Nick Chubb did just come back that week, but they've been dominant the past 2 weeks. New England has just show that they're a very good team. They run the East again. They still have to face the Bills twice, but they could easily beat them twice. So I'm going with New England there. Then Pittsburgh heads to Cincinnati. Quite a few divisional games, and I like that. There's going to be a lot of good games potential because obviously, like I've said millions of times in the past, throw logic out the window for divisional games. You just never know what's going to happen. You can make a guess, but you just never know until the game actually happens. So, that goes with Philly and the Giants. That goes to, Chicago and Detroit and whatnot. And obviously that goes for Pittsburgh, Cincinnati here that we're talking about right now. I am picking Cincinnati just because I feel like they're looking better right now. Obviously, Steelers just put up 24 points in the fourth quarter to almost win. They ended up losing, but they came back 24 points in the fourth quarter alone. So if they can build off that momentum, there's a chance, but I just feel like Cincinnati's a little bit better of a team, so I'm going with them. Excuse me. Then Atlanta heads to face the Jags. Not a lot to talk about here. This will be another kind of who's going to get a lower or a higher draft pick, Atlanta or the Jags. Obviously, the Jags are a couple spots ahead of Atlanta right now. But, game-wise, I'm going to pick Atlanta just to barely squeak out a victory. Probably Younghoe Koo nails a kick to end the game and wins the Atlanta the game in the end. Very minimum scores, maybe like 17-13. Well, I guess that's not really a kick, but 17-14 we'll go with. Something like that. Just, not a lot of fun for that game. It could be. It could easily be a really fun game. You just never know. Then another divisional game here. Chargers had to face Denver in Denver. I don't know what to say about the Chargers because they look strong against the Steelers, and then they just let up 24 points, and they almost lost to the Steelers. I don't know what to say. It's just they have things to switch up. They got to start getting back in rhythm. And you can't let up 24 points in the fourth quarter. You just can't do that. So I am picking them here against Denver. Despite it being in Denver, Denver's just not a good team. And then the LA Rams, look at that, right next to each other. Both LA teams. are heading to Green Bay. So both LA teams are on the road this weekend too. Look at that. Rams coming off a bye. Packers coming off of a crazy loss to Minnesota. Defense did terrible for the Packers. They were not showing up. Aaron Rodgers showed up though. Aaron Rodgers definitely showed up. 31 points. That's pretty good. They showed up offensively. Yes, a little slow in the first half, but they got in rhythm in the second half and just won the game. So, lost the game, but they looked really good on offense, and the defense just cost them the game. Obviously, again, Rams coming off the bye, have OBJ, Von Miller now, and whatnot. Cooper Kupp obviously out there too on offense. Going to be a fun game. I don't think it's going to be as fun as Tampa, Indy, or possibly Tennessee, New England. I think those games will be a little bit funner. Obviously, this is game of the week for Fox, but I don't know. I'm more so excited for some other games here. I'm just nervous about the Packers. After this game, we head into the bye, but I mean, just that defense just did not look good, and so I'm hoping and praying that we win this game. I am picking them. Obviously, again, Rams are coming off the bye, so you just never know. But if we get that offense and then we get the defense that have showed up in the past before last week, this should be a very fun, maybe close game. I don't know. It's obviously going to be one of the better defenses versus one of the better offenses, and then what was supposed to be one of the better offenses versus what was supposed to be one of the better defenses, but you just never know. So, but I'm going with Green Bay to win. Then Minnesota is on the road heading to San Francisco. This will be a fun game too. I think this will be a fun game. Minnesota again coming off coming off the win against the Packers last week. San Francisco. I don't remember who they played last week. I think they won. I don't remember who they played. Oh, the Jags. That's why I don't remember. They played the Jags last week, so nothing really to say about that. I'm picking San Francisco at home. I just think since that Rams game, they've kind of flipped the switch and they're starting to look a little better. So I'm picking them to win at home against Minnesota. I expect a close game, though. Minnesota has had a lot of close games, so I expect this to be a close game, possibly a shootout. You never know. But I expect, just a fun, close game between these two teams, with San Francisco just barely coming out on top. So, then Sunday night game, we have Cleveland heading to Baltimore. A couple of weeks ago, I would have been way more excited for this game. I think Lamar Jackson is playing. Obviously, last week had a non-COVID related illness. I don't know. I think he's playing next week. And then obviously, Browns are kind of getting healthy, at least offensive-wise. They're kind of getting healthy. So I'm picking Baltimore. I expect Lamar to play. So last time it was a classic. It was, Monday night, I think, last time. Because it was the second time they played. I believe it was in Cleveland. And that was a classic of a game. So I expect maybe that again if Lamar is playing. Obviously, Baltimore won last year, but I just think that they're a little bit better than the Browns right now. And the Browns, I'm not super sure on them right now. But you're in the hardest division right now, and I think you still have a chance to make the playoffs. It just may not be the divisional leader. May not be a top 4 seed. So I listened to my train of thought there for a second. Then Monday night we have a kind of interesting game. Seattle heads to Washington. I don't even know what I can say about this because Seattle has just not looked good recently, and Washington has looked pretty good. So I'm going with Washington. Their defense is starting to look better. I don't know. I don't know what to say about Seattle right now. I think this loss is going to cement them as just missing the playoffs. They're not looking good at all. So I just got Washington. I think their defense will be a problem, and I think Washington's offense may only have to put up 21 points to win. So we'll see. Again, anything can happen. It's any given Sunday, any given Monday, any given Thursday. or any given day of the week, like last year where we had Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday games. So for now, though, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Like the video, share the video around. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm already losing it. Again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And we're out of here. Peace.